How you doing, YouTube? Welcome to another beer review, and once again we're travelling over to our our wonderful friends, Tool, and we're looking at a bottle of the Beastly Biscuit, which is it's a barley wine, and clocking in at 10% ABV, and some intriguing artwork once again from Kasper Ledet, which has a camera with photography prohibited on there. Not exactly sure how that relates to a barley wine that's to do with biscuits, or if there's actually any rhyme or reason, but hey, it's an intriguing label for sure. And picked this up from Beermoth, so I'm going to be using my Beermoth snifter. And yeah, Beastly Biscuit. Let's see, this is actually brewed over here in the UK at Buxton. And yeah, enjoy our long time boiled barley wine loaded with biscuity goodness from loads of malts and malts. This beast will take your breath away. Best before the 9th of January 2027. So yeah, 10.9% actually ABV, contains barley and oat. And yeah, so really intrigued to see what this is like. Barley wines, every now and then. I wouldn't say it's like in my top 5 favourite style of all time. Mainly because I've not really had too much experience with barley wines, although recently I've been having a few more. And yeah, so really intrigued to see how this one turns out. And I'm guessing that ABV, it's going to be a sipper, which is good because I'm just about to go fry myself a nice piece of steak. But a nice piece of steak, a nice steak. Can't remember which one it is. I got it in like a big box of meat, but anyway. So, nobody's here to listen to me talk about meat. We're here to talk about a beer. So, beer in the glass then. And that is a lovely sort of, well, yeah, it is a ruby red colour. I was going to say amber then, but there's nowhere near amber. Looks a lot darker because of the lighting. We're slowly starting to get into spring, which means that, 7 o'clock in the evening, it's still bright. And for some reason, this sort of lighting weather always reminds me of Germany. And it's a really bittersweet experience, to be honest. I know I overly romanticise every aspect of my life, but I'm in like a very weird place at the moment as I'm doing this review, and I wish I was in Regensburg walking right along the Donau, but yeah, I'll be going back there soon. Not that it really matters, because by the time you watch this, you could be watching this like 2 years after I've recorded the video, so what I'm talking about makes absolutely no sense. But yeah, lovely ruby red beer. It is quite clear actually, and no head to speak of. There was nice carbonation. I mean, you wouldn't expect a big head at all with a 10%, well, 10.9% ABV beer. But when I reinforce it, it's sort of like an off-white sort of tan colour. But yeah, it definitely looks malty. Almost has a look of cranberry juice to it. But it looks good, so let's see what we get on the nose. And it's got big, sticky, caramelised berry characters. You're getting a load of caramel on this one. Not like a vibrant, it's more like a dense caramel. Almost like brown sugar. But yeah, berries, cherries. You even getting like stuff like sultanas, that sort of thing. Bit of plum in there as well. Sort of those steeped fruits. Cranberry as well. Little bit of a chocolate character, but to me it's all about that like sticky berry malty sweetness. I'll tell you what, alcohol is matched absolutely beautifully. It's such a lovely rounded beer on the nose. It's like got a real sense of maturity about it. But yeah, it smells really good. It smells deceptively light, so let's see what it actually tastes like. Cheers, guys. There's no harshness on it at all. Aside from some alcohol warmth on the back end. Body is, I'd say, a medium body. It's not really bold or in your face. It's not chewy by any stretch. But it's got this sort of like texture to it within. Almost has that sort of like watered down syrup character to it. But yeah, that is just so laid back and balanced. It really, really is. There's no alcohol harshness at all. Just again, that light warming as it's going down. A lovely sweetness to it as well. It's biscuits for sure. It really, really is. You're getting a bit of like an oaty biscuit in there. You're getting a bit of like a digestive butter biscuits, like shortbread. You know what it reminds you of? It reminds you of those, I'm not too sure what they're called, but those biscuits that have got sort of, they're not perfectly round, they're bumpy around the edges. And they've got like little holes in where they've been forked. And then they've got like little currants in and that sort of thing. Can't remember what they're called. I think there's like sometimes sugar sprinkled on top of them as well. And that being said, it's not really an overwhelmingly sweet beer. The sweetness is there, like hints of a bit of a muscovado in there. But there's like a lovely earthiness, which I don't think this has been aged in a barrel, but you're getting a very subtle woodiness to it. And of course, with that, you're getting some lovely, gentle vanilla tones. Yeah, that's a lovely, indulgent beer, and one that the only reason why you take your time with it is to savour it, because it's a really nice balanced beer, but also because the more you drink it, naturally, the more you're going to feel it as it's going down. But, yeah, just like having a big bottle of this sat alongside the river, anywhere in a European city, in, you know, a mid-spring, early summer evening, just you, whoever's with you at the time, and nobody else. Everyone around you just doesn't matter, you're just captured in the moment. That's that sort of beer. It's really nice, really, really is. I tell you what, my experience with the darker two old beers recently has just been absolutely fantastic. It's not the most exciting barley wine, don't get me wrong. But then again, does every beer have to be like competing on top of each other? I think there's always a place for a beer. And this one is just so nicely brewed. And of course it's been brewed in the UK. And you do get that really nice traditional British character to it. But I'm sure that would taste the same if it was brewed in De Prof in Belgium. Maybe slightly different with the differing water quality, that sort of thing. But yeah, that's a lovely, very traditional, very simple, and I don't know, it's got a real sense of Britishness to it. When you're drinking this beer, you would not expect the beer to drink like it is if you just saw that artwork in a bottle shop. It's just amazing how like traditional and like almost not old-fashioned, but like classic it is. And I think they've done a really nice job. There's like almost like a Fuggles like bitterness on the back end as I'm talking now. Not sure what hops they would have used, but yeah, lovely malty character, lovely sweetness to it. Some might find it a little bit too sweet, but then again, that's what I find a lot with British barley wines or British style. So I'm going to say this is a British styled barley wine. And yeah, that's a really, really nice one. It would be really interesting to see what this would taste like in 2027. Do you know what I mean? When it's really, you know, just aged nicely. It probably could have done with a little bit longer in the bottle, but I was impatient and I wanted to drink a beer. And all I've got is like upwards of 10% beers available to me. So I thought I'll give this one a try because I've been having really good luck with Tuol. And this is another fantastic little beer. So in terms of a rating, I'm going to give Beastly Biscuit an 8 out of 10. That's a lovely beer. I'd happily have it again. I'd like to see what that would be like in different barrels, or maybe with some adjuncts thrown in there, or that sort of thing blended with something else. Because it's got that sort of simple character to it. But the plus side of that is you could add so much to it. I think coffee would be a nice addition to this. I say that because I've got still yet to take the label off the Mochaccino Messiah, which was absolutely fantastic. And yeah, even like sort of like a bourbon barrel aged. I know it's cliche as hell, but I think that vanilla character you get in there would just be so nicely accentuated by like a nice bourbon vanilla peatiness. But as it is, that's a lovely, lovely beer. So if you have tried it, then let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. If there are different variations of this, then of course give me any recommendations you have, or any other sort of stronger, darker beers from Tuol. They're definitely one of my favourite breweries, and they've delivered more than they've let me down. And to be honest, when they have sort of like slightly missed the mark for me, it's more of their lower ABV, lighter beers. And when I say light, I mean lighter in colour, like the pale ales or different versions of a lager or cream ale, that sort of thing. But dark ales, especially the higher ABV ones, they just knock it out the park every time, it seems. So yeah, definitely going to be drinking a lot more Tuol beers in the future. But yeah, what are some of your favourite barley wines? Any recommendations? Greatly appreciated. What's some of your favourite Tuol beers? Of course, check out my Tuol playlist. Check out Tuol, fantastic brewery if you haven't done so already. Check out Beermoth, great shop in Manchester. Of course, if any of my friends and fellow beer tubers have reviewed this one, their reviews will be included in the description box. I'm not sure if I've got a barley wine playlist, but if I have, I'll put that in the description as well. So there's going to be a lot for you to chew on down below. Take that as you will when I'm pointing literally down to my crotch. But yeah, anyway, I can't wait to pair this with a steak, basically because I'm really in the mood for a steak now. So I'm going to cut this video off here. Thank you all for watching, and I shall hopefully see you all later. Cheers.